Hey guys, so if you've watched any of my other videos, you have learned how to make your LLC for your business, no matter what state you're living in. And after you've created your LLC, there are a few steps you'll need to take for your business. So, first thing, congratulations, you've created your LLC, but we still have a few more steps to take after this. So, you just want to avoid any potential tax issues or legal issues, and you want to get set up and started on the right foot with everything in line, everything organized, and no little mishaps down the line just because you missed a step or two. So I'm just going to be walking you through every single step that you'll need to do. This is kind of a summary, but things that you need to really make a note of and to do. All right, so number one is to get your EIN number. Now, if you followed the link on my site and get your EIN number through Taylor Brands, congratulations, this one is crossed off already. If you have not done it, let me tell you about your EIN. So it's like the social security number of your business, and you're gonna need it to file taxes, open a business bank account, get payment processor set up, and if you ever hire employees, it is required to have. So it's something you can do yourself for free if you'd like, and you'll need it for almost everything else that we talk about today. So you can do that through the IRS website or through Taylor Brands. Now that you've got your EIN number, you want to open a business bank account, and it's really important to not skip this. So one of the biggest mistakes new business owners can make is by mixing personal and business funds, and that really destroys your liability protection. So the whole point of an LLC is to separate you from the business, and same with your EIN number. So basically it keeps the money separate from your personal and your business. And most banks will ask you for your EIN number, your articles of organization, and sometimes an operating agreement. So that brings us to step number 3. Step 3 is to create your operating agreement. Again, if you've done it through Taylor Brands, you can easily get your operating agreement through there. And an operating agreement is basically the rule book for how your LLC works. And it outlines who owns what, how decisions are made, what happens if somebody wants to leave, and how profits are split. So it basically breaks down the ownership of the business. And it could help you in court if you ever had to deal with that down the line. Some states do require it as well. Step number 4 is to get any required business licenses or permits. And now this varies depending on what type of industry or business that you're running and where you're located. So for example, if you're selling products, you might need like a sales tax permit. If you're working from home, some cities require a home occupation license. And if you're running a physical store or service, you might need a local business license. So it really just varies on what type of business you have. And this part is different for everyone. So check with your city or state. And if you skip this part and you get caught, you could face a ton of fines or be shut down. And this part is very serious depending on what type of business you're running. Next step is to set up bookkeeping, and this is a big one. So from day one, you want to track your money, and setting up bookkeeping and an accounting system early, even if it's before you make a sale, is gonna keep you super organized and on track from the beginning. And it's so important to keep records of your income, expenses, receipts, mileage, all that stuff, and that'll help you save money in your taxes. So you can use a service like QuickBooks, even like Excel or Google Sheets just to start, just so you're writing down every single thing that you've spent money on. And in the future, you might want to apply for a business credit card. That way you kind of know where all of your money is going and it's separate from your personal stuff. Next is to register your state taxes. And depending on your state and business type, you might need to register for state level taxes. So for example, if you're selling products, you probably need to collect and remit sales tax. If you have employees, you'll need to register for state payroll taxes. And some states have annual business taxes as well, or franchise taxes you have to file. So check with your state's Department of Revenue. Even online businesses need to pay attention to this. The next step is to lock in your business identity. So let's talk about your business's identity and how people see you, like what impression do they have of your business. So, you want to set up obviously an email address that's separate from your personal address. A domain name is great to have if you have a website, or if you don't have a site yet, you want to buy a domain name that's easy to search. And of course, your social media is huge. This is probably the most important one, is to have a strong social media presence. And it just makes you look more legit and trustworthy from the beginning. It lets people see your work or whatever businesses you do. It gives you some credibility. Next step is to separate your personal life from your business. And I know I've kind of mentioned this here and there, but it's so important to keep everything separate. So you might want to consider getting like a separate phone number, maybe a separate bank account, or if you have Cash App, to create a business account for that, keeping your receipts in one place, and to not intermingle your personal funds from your business. And you want the IRS to see clearly that you have your business and that you and your LLC are not the same. And that's what gives you liability protection. And this is kind of like one of the big points of having an LLC, is to keep you protected. All right, so later on down the line, if you're making a lot of money, maybe like $40,000 or more in net income, you may want to consider from switching to an LLC up to an S-Corp. And this is something you can talk with your accountant, about. And this is something that's going to help you save money during your taxes. All right, so let's recap everything we've gone over. First thing, you're going to need your LLC. After that, get your EIN number, open your business bank account, create your operating agreement, handle any licenses or permits that you need to have. You want to set up your bookkeeping. You want to register for state taxes if needed, build your business identity, and keep your business and personal accounts and lives separate. So if you do all of that, you'll have a really clean setup right from the beginning, strong foundation to grow your business. And even if you haven't started yet, this is going to set you up for success from the beginning. All right, guys, I know this was just a quick summary of things that you'll need to do once you start your business, but I hope it's given you some good ideas and kind of set you up for success, and so you know how to get started with your business. If you do have questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.